Gary Cooke and Risteárd from Après Match, or the River Tenors, as we're here to talk about, who are the singing versions of your characters in one way.
Yeah, they are. They're. I mean, we sort of. They emerged from the fact that we've all heard soccer chants in the terraces and all that over the years, and there's something about three Irish tenors as well that we always found just funny in itself. I mean, the necessity for three, number one, and when I remember saying it to Brian Friel, the playwright, saying one is too many. So just like the fact that there's three of them and singing soccer chants just kind of sillied it up in a lot of ways, and just that juxtaposition seems to me to be kind of there's a lot of rich comedy terrain there, I think.
What a witty man Brian Friel is. Is he a writer?
He should write
for us.
He should really take it up.
Gary, you were saying how old Après Match is in its current form.
Yes, it's in 1998, so that's 12 years. If you do the maths, it works out at exactly 12.
Nice.
Which is quite interesting. It's not interesting at all. Actually.
Not really. I was kind of going, why?
Isn't it 12 years I joined up, but they were doing... Brian Risteárd did stuff before that in 1996, so it kind of is...
It was soccer-related stuff, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was. I mean, it wasn't called Après Match. It was really took off, to be fair, when there was three of us.
Right.
And it always seems to. I don't know. Things in three seem to work best. Certainly in terms of comedy.
Yeah.
I know double acts have their might say otherwise.
Yeah, Morecambe and Wise, they're shit.
They're terrible. But no, I think there is something. It's always an interesting dynamic. I mean, particularly what we're doing, where we're bouncing off each other a lot.
And is it largely improvised, or is it scripted?
It's kind of a combination, really. There's a lot. We'd have ideas for things that we'd write, and we'd write scripts around the characters. But it's character driven, I suppose. And I suppose very often we'd just take on a particular character, and another person would go, well, what about this character with that? And then we just do it, and then all of a sudden, we're improvising.
Right.
But we get to a script, I think, by improvising sometimes, and sometimes it's the other way around.
We piss around the characters and everything, and I'm sure the River Tenors came about, when we were mucking around one day with the characters, and so it's a combination. It wouldn't very often happen that somebody would come in with an entirely new script or idea all written up, and we just go, oh yeah, okay. We tend to piss around with things and find them through that,
And
do you tend to read a script and go, yeah, that's no good, let's do something completely different?
And would you have control of your individual characters? Would Bill have his own lines, and then Eamon and whatever?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's down to the roles they have, and I think in that respect we would probably approach it, say, from an acting point of view, and in a way the comedy sort of maybe layered after that, the lines, if you like. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they all play a particular function, I think. Bill has a particular role, Eamon has a particular role. I mean, and these are the real people, and in a way we're just kind of mirroring that and taking it to a ridiculous level.
And how have they reacted? Because you must have run into them somewhere at something.
Yeah, I mean, they've always been fine.
Yeah.
Bill's quite funny because Bill
particularly seems to be very supportive of it.
He's very supportive, but you'd meet him, afterwards when he's taken off his makeup. There's no pretense. He just kind of go, well, I thought tonight's one was great. Really very very funny. The other thing was the other night was bollocks. Bill would be very kind of. He just tells you as it is, And he's very supportive.
Have RTE ever been wary of you guys? Because it is pretty much live comedy based on what you've seen on that night.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, to be fair to RTE, we've never been rapped on the knuckles at all.
Never.
Right.
Really haven't. And I think maybe some people like to feel that about RTE, that they're terribly restricting, and we can't say that because it's RTE, and that they're really old-fashioned and they put chains on you, but if they don't,
there's never been an issue. And I think part of the reason for that is because, the people themselves, the main characters like Bill and Dunphy and Giles and Brady, they've been fine about it. So
right.
if they were prickly about it and uncomfortable with it, then, you know, it might get in the way. But they've always been fine with it. I think, you know, Dunphy particularly, you know, he knows the value. You know, he's kind of, they know it's kind of good for them in actual fact, because no matter what you say or no matter how much you slag them, it ultimately adds to their mythologizing, you know.
Yeah. I think as well they've probably taken on our characters a bit more, if anything.
How often do you guys come together? Because I know you've all got careers in your own right, and like Barry Murphy, who's not here, is a successful comedian. You're a successful actor. You've got a new TG Carr series coming out on April 7th called On Crisis.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, we get together. I mean, the last few years, I suppose, we've got together for tournaments, for major kind of sports tournaments or sports events. Like we did the Ryder Cup, which was a departure for us there a couple of years ago. And we might do something on that again this year. But yeah, we don't get together that often. And I think one of the, you know, you could argue one of the reasons for the longevity of Après Match is the fact that we haven't been in each other's faces, you know, all the time. And I think it's very difficult. I mean, it's a bit like a band in that, you know, we were drawn to each other, and you know, so it's not like we were picked and then thrown together. So it's there's obviously still, you know, there's a lot of interest in maintaining the life of Après Match, but I think it's probably good for us to just kind of sit back from it as well sometimes, and, you know, do other things. I think as well, it's just we prefer doing other things sometimes.
Yeah. What can people expect next Thursday in the National Concert Hall?
Comedy, lots of it.
No, I mean they can expect there'll be some Après Match characters, you know, that they would be familiar with dotted throughout the evening. But the spine of the show is the River Tenors singing a host of fabulously entertaining songs, and you know they're based in sport, based in football, some of them, and you know, with the backing of the concert orchestra, it sort of elevates it onto this massive scale, and you're singing things like number one, it's Gary Breen, at number two, it's Gary Breen, with the orchestra behind you. Yes. And it just makes it sound extremely important, and of course we're talking nonsense.
That's okay, because I was just wondering what it was like to be singing the songs that you've written with the RTE Concert Orchestra inside, just in here.
Well, it's amazing because like even just rehearsing there, we were looking at the manuscript for the music, and we're looking at the score, and like on the top it says "Everywhere We Go," and there are parts for oboe, clarinet, bass, you know, drums, everything, and you're thinking like, wow, like that's we just came up with that in a room, you know what I mean? And so it's great when we heard it, yeah, you're immediately kind of lifted by it, and as I say, I think it kind of gives it a sense of kind of ridiculous importance, you know, like the words to these songs are juxtaposed.
Yeah, it's the incongruousness of it is really, I suppose, where the comedy is, I guess, you know.
We think it's really funny.
Yeah, they do. They think that they're really funny, the
yeah.
RTE.
Do you like comedy? Yeah. Do you like
I do. I just don't like the laughing part.
Yeah.
I find the comedy, I like comedy without the humour.
Sure.
I just don't like, you know, comedy.
Sure.
Comedy itself I find a bit too much.
Yeah, sure.
I don't understand it.
And have you talked to anyone about that?
About?
Your need to make people laugh, do you have a problem, Gary?
I do. It's actually... it's an illness that I'm paying a lot of money to a psychotherapist to try and get rid of the comedy quotient, the need to make people laugh. It's not paying any dividends for me. You know?
Right.
I'm getting too much money for it.
So if people want to help you in your recovery, they can come to the National Concert Hall next Thursday.
Yeah. There's also some regular Après Match characters in there as well, by the way. And
okay.
obviously there's some proper singers as well who will be there. So
yeah.
there will be a bit of proper singing.
Okay, cool.
Claudia Boyle is joining as well. He's a magnificent soprano.
Yep.
And an up-and-coming youngster called Pierce O'Donnell. No. So yeah, it's a musical show with dollops of comedy.
Brilliant. And then a tour coming up soon.
Tour coming up, yeah. April, May. We're doing smallish venues. We're in Carlow, Kilkenny, Bray, Donegal,
Madison
Galway,
Square
Sligo.
Garden is one of the smaller ones we're doing.
That's April, May, and we're in Cork as well at the end of May. Yeah, we're looking forward to that, and then it's the World Cup into June, July, and we're probably going to do some gigs around the country as well in July. Festivals and
a bit like U2, you know, they do an indoor arena tour in the spring in America, and you know, the later part of the year they go outdoors to the 80,000 seater.
That's right. Well, I really, we really remind me of U2, I must say. The whole thing. In fact, there's 3 of us, and they're a bit funnier though, I think, aren't they?
Lads, I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Richard Cooper and Gary Cooke from Après Match at the National Concert Hall on Thursday. Tickets on sale at nch.ie. Thanks very much, guys.
Thanks,
Cheers.
All right.